Hey there, Leanne here with Scratch again. I was gonna get started on this restoration job, but I wanted to talk about what tools we use for the breakdowns. Pretty simple stuff. The first tool is this stapler remover. This is super handy, one of the first things we ever got to do these breakdowns. It gets under the staples like this and pries them up, and you don't need a whole lot of leverage because that bend is so nice. The only thing about this is these are a little bit more fragile. If you see the bend right here, so we have to replace these a lot more often than anything else, but they go through a lot of uses and you can actually bend them back too. And then we have the handy dandy pliers. I like these ones. Nate likes more of a skinnier one that we have over there, but any pair of pliers works. We've had this forever. Yeah. And then we have this magical tool that we found pretty late into the game. This is called a end nipper. I think it's used mostly for like wire cutting and stuff, but we found that it works great to pull out these giant staples on these trees. It works by getting the staple, oh I have one right here. Yeah. So here's a big old staple. So it works by getting on that, and then it's like in the wood like that, and it pulls it out. So you don't need a whole lot of leverage for this one either. And then the end also is like the back of a hammer, so we can get nails out too. And this one, total game changer. And then we get into kind of big crowbars. This one's a mini crowbar, ironically, but it's a little bigger than the end nip thing. So this one is also great for tearing out carpet. When the carpet's just completely destroyed and we're replacing it, we don't try to be careful with it. It's gonna get tossed anyway, and we just rip it. And then it's also good for, it's a little sharper, so it's good to get the staples out.
You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is.
And then we have a big crowbar for bigger needs. Also great, works great for nails, and if you're tearing out carpet, you just put the end in there and tear down the carpet. And then we get into some cutting tools we have. Of course, there's just the run-of-the-mill, what is this called, a box cutter. This one is pretty great because it has that bend in it, and it has a little more leverage. The blades do get a little dull quickly, so it's good for just cutting a bunch of stuff, but not the best for precise cuts. But for breakdowns, works great. And then we have scissors. This is a lot easier to cut precisely. We also have some bigger scissors over here, but these ones are my favorite because it is lefty or righty. So it is advertised, but it has that spring, so it stays open like that unless you lock it. So there's not a lot of, it helps prevent your hand from getting tired, I guess. And these are super sharp. They do also need to be replaced a little more often than the rest of our tools, but they're so worth it because they're great at cutting. And then this is the scariest thing we have. I don't even know what it's really called, but it's like a little mini scythe, and it is so sharp. And we've only needed one of these so far, and it's great at just like, if I were to just tear down that carpet right there. Yeah. And that's it. Anything else is just our manpower, but, whoop. Oh, and then of course safety glasses. Always gotta use your safety glasses on these breakdowns because there's a bunch of stuff flying in the air. But yeah, so that is all we use tool-wise for breakdowns, and I'll see you next time. I'm gonna get started on this guy.